back to my Flosstube. I'm Mel, Wordy Stitches, here on Flosstube and on Instagram. I live in Melbourne, Australia, and this is my little corner of the internet where I'm talking about my stitchy adventures. For those of you who are new here, hello, it's nice to have you and I hope you enjoy this stitchy chat. And if you're coming back, thank you. I've had a few new subscribers lately, so that's exciting. And a few nice people, Dr. Kristi and Tess and Kerry from Kerry In Stitches have given me nice shout outs, so that's very kind of them. It's nice to have some new stitchy friends discovering my channel. For those of you who don't know, Flosstube is a corner of the internet where people talk about largely cross stitch, some other forms of embroidery, and then whatever sort of stitchy fabricy, needleworky crafts they do and some other hobbies. But today will mostly be about cross stitch, a little bit about quilting, maybe a little bit about crochet. First, I just wanted to start by saying it's been a super stressful time for everyone again for the last couple of weeks. Clearly the situation in the Ukraine is unacceptable. Make it clear, I stand with the Ukraine on that one. And what's happening in Texas with trans kids is unacceptable. And here in Australia, we've had massive rainfalls in Queensland, so there are quite severe floods. Also big rainfalls happening in parts of New South Wales, so there are also floods. So everyone is still having a tough time, and I just want to say, you know, we all do what we can to help people when they need helping. So I'll be talking a little bit about some of the things I've done or started to do for the Ukraine, but you know, it's also okay to take care of your own mental health. And for me, I know that cross stitch is definitely one of the things that helps me escape and relax when I'm feeling stressed. So I wanted to go ahead and make this Flosstube for this week, but just to acknowledge that, yep, it's once again a super stressful time. It would be nice if we could stop living in such interesting times. I think the last 2 years has really given me an appreciation of why that old Chinese proverb of may you live in interesting times is a curse, not a blessing. But I hope that you're all doing okay, and that you can, you know, whatever does give you comfort, that you have that to do. I don't know if I've explicitly said it on this channel before, but you know, I am one of those love is for everyone, feminism is for everyone, Black Lives Matter, kindness is important type people. If that's not for you, then that's fine. You can move along, but it will be clear over time what my views are and through some of the things I stitch as well. So anyway, having said all that, let's move on to the more relaxing part of the Flosstube, which is the actual stitching. So I think it's 3 weeks since I made a Flosstube. I probably should have done one last weekend, but I was actually lucky enough to go away with some of my girlfriends for the weekend, for some of my writer buddies, which we haven't managed to do for a couple of years. And I have a group of writer buddies that we meet every month or so in person and talk about our writing and business stuff and things, and we haven't been able to do that much at all. I think we've probably had like 2 or 3 in-person meetings in the 2 years. So it's just been lovely to hang out and spend some time. We went down the Great Ocean Road. So I live in Victoria, which is the southernmost of the eastern states in Australia, and so that road goes along the south coastline of Victoria, and so it's a mixture of nice swimming beaches, surf beaches, quite dramatic cliff scenery, and nice little coastal towns and things. And there's a series of rock formations called the 12 Apostles, which are big sort of formations sitting in the water, which have, you know, been eroded away from the mainland over time. There's probably, I'm not quite sure how many of them are left now. There's something like 6 or something. A few of them have collapsed in recent years. And sorry, that was me kicking the paper bag that my cat is sitting in and her freaking out. So yeah, so it was a lovely weekend away. Didn't do a lot of stitching, did do a lot of writing, so that was good. So as I said, but I have had one finish since I last spoke to you. So I think last time I was probably just starting this project. So this is You Had Me at Flamingo by Hands On Design, and this was so much fun to stitch. These colors are just happy and cheerful, and those flamingos are super cute. I think I've probably got a couple of boo-boos in the flamingos, but I just went ahead and fudged because there wasn't going to be too much unpicking. But yeah, this was super fun. I just need to find a frame for it when I get out and about. So yes, I like hands-on designs. They're always nice and cheerful. But that's my only finish, I think. It's only been 3 weeks, so that's not too bad. I have had a partial finish, but I'll talk about that in my whips. So let's get on to whips then. All right, so first one, let's do the Temperature Bookshelf by Dr. Kristi. I'll put a picture over here of what the pattern looks like. But this is mine. So, let me move that needle minder. So I've now finished January and February. So that's good, and started March. A couple of days behind at the moment. I haven't done yesterday's or today's yet, but I will do those later on. So for my knickknacks in February, I did a crown, Queen Elizabeth's 70th Jubilee, because I think, as I said last time, regardless of how you feel about the monarchy and republics versus monarchy and all that sort of thing, I think serving your country for 70 years, or anyone doing any job for 70 years, deserves some recognition. And then I just did some little hexies, because I've started making the hexies for my hexiquilts. So I thought that would be a nice thing to remember. That's when I started at that as well. So this pattern is by Kristi of Kristi Korner's NeedleWork here on YouTube, and she's Dr. Kristi on Instagram. I'm sorry, I have got the lights on overhead, so I think it might be a bit shadowy. So she has a few versions of the bookshelf. She's got a temperature drink shelf. She's got a really cool temperature Space Invaders, which I'm quite tempted to do next year. And I'm just using DMC flosses in a range of colours. It's been really interesting to do, actually, when I did. So she explains how to put together your temperature range, looking at historical data for your area. So, you know, Melbourne doesn't have super cold winters by North American standards, but we can get quite cold, and we do get snow sort of nearby, but not often in Melbourne. And we can get quite hot, and like in summer it can be, you know, it gets up to 47 degrees sometimes, but this summer's actually been quite cool. I don't think so the top 5 colours in my temperature range, which I think were probably like 35 up, I think I've only hit like the lowest of those twice, maybe the one above once or something. So it's been quite a cool summer by our standards. So it will be interesting to see if I get any of that hot weather in December, and then whether I adjust the range if I do another temperature chart next year and make that top range like sort of cover more degrees for each color, and sort of bring that down a bit so I get a bit more variety in my color. But that's my temperature bookshelf. What shall I talk about next? So this is my partial finish. So I do have Atlantis by Owlforest Embroidery, who are a Russian company, but I'm sure they're not pro-Putin, so, because not many Russians are, I don't think. Anyway, so I have finished the first page of this finally. So it was on my Whitgo board in January and February, and I didn't get a heap done in January. I did 5 days, but not a lot each day. But then I did a few extra days at the end of the month, and then in February thought I'll try and finish that page. So I'll put in a photo of what it probably looked like last time, but yeah, that's the page. So this is sort of like it's a long, thin, well, it's not that thin, it's like 110 stitches deep or something, and 300 wide. So there's 2 more pages of roughly this size to do as well, which I will keep going on, but I'm going to give it a little bit of a break because it's had a fair bit of attention the last 2 months. And my poor old dilemma has not had, so I think this month I might do a bit more on dilemma as one of my ongoing whips. I did make the other day after I'd finished the flamingos, because February was February, where you meant to stitch birds. So I made the tiniest of starts on Ruskin's Penguins by Modern Folk Embroidery. Let me find you the pattern for that one. So that's the pattern, Modern Folk Embroidery, and I've just made this little start. I'm using the Leo and Roxy threads, which I treated to myself from Canada over Christmas, and this is fabric from Handmade at number 12 on Instagram she is, but number 12 Stitch Co on Etsy, who's an Aussie dyer. And my temperature, so I think this is 32 count. It's called Whitsunday. It's just this lovely sort of sea bluey green color. And my temperature bookshelf is also on a piece of her Toasted Mellow. That's 36 count though. And Owlforest Atlantis is just, it was a kit. So it's the kit fabric, which I think is like a 32 count, and they're variegated threads. And then my last start, which was just earlier this week, put a picture here because I don't have the printout of the front cover of the chart. So this is Smash the Patriarchy by Cross Stitch with Art, who is a Ukrainian designer. Now I already had a couple of her patterns because I like them. I like those snarky saying sort of things. And I'm just doing, I think she charted it in oranges and things, but I'm just using some of my cottage garden threads, and the words are a variegated, one of the DMC variegated threads, because I just want it to be nice and pink and girly, but smash the patriarchy, because, you know, I'm sure we'd have less wars if we didn't have patriarchy as well. But that also brings me to haul. So I was on a no buy. I do have a few things of haul, which were a combination of stuff I'd ordered before the start of February, including something that I'd asked a shop to hunt down for me, and she emailed me in the middle of the month and said, hey, I've got that pattern for you. And I was going to say, hey, can you wait 2 weeks and then I'll pay you, because that's a bit rude. So I bought that pattern, and of course, as we've said before, Chance can't travel alone to justify the postage, so I bought another pattern with it. And then I got something else which I actually ordered, I want to say like early January or late December. I can't remember when she did it, but we'll talk about that. But let's just talk about some other Ukrainian designers, because that was the other thing that I broke my no buy for on the weekend. There's lots of people on Instagram who've been posting Ukrainian designers and suggesting that we buy PDFs and things from them on Etsy, because then they can deliver the product, they can get the money, and then that's supporting them directly. I think at Eugenia Das has been doing a really good job at posting both charities and lots of designers. Jan Hicks Curates has been doing the same. So I've just bought a few, and I've got a few more in my cart. So I did buy a few more from Cross Stitch with Art, and then I bought this one. So this is from Mika Stitch Design on Etsy. I'll put the text on there as well. But she has this whole series of super cute animals in their little winter jumpers. I don't know, so I'd had this in my favorites for a little while, so I thought good time to buy that one. And then this one, it's called, I'm blanking on what it's called. I will put the name underneath. By Stitchy Princess, and she's got a lot of these very cute sort of quirky samplers of various fairy tale and animal type things. So lots of cute. There's a couple of, I've seen a couple of cells for her stuff going around as well. It's just a lot of gorgeous designs, but I bought this sheep one. Being a knitter and a crocheter, it appealed to me. I may yet do it for my sister-in-law, who is an indie yarn dyer at Stranded in Oz, if you want to look her up online. And then this one, which I thought was really lovely. So this is 2x2 stitch art on Etsy. You know, I really like teals, so this really appealed to me. I like florals, perfect mix. So, and she has a lot of lovely things as well. But there's others. There's some more I have in my basket that I just need to go through and check out as well. But that is a good way of supporting people where you can, but also, you know, if you can support the charities and things that are on the ground helping people and helping refugees, that is also good. All right, so let's talk about other haul. So the chart that I had asked, so A Stitch in Time in Hobart, Carolyn, I'd asked her to find me this Nora Corbett, which is called Minerva. So these are her, what are they called? Wicked Pixies or something, Enchanted Pixies. I'll put the right text on because I cannot remember. And I've got two others. another one in this tealy and black, and the other one's in purple and black, but I may change it to the teals and blacks because I just thought they go quite nicely with the Raven Queen teal, which I've also got, which is like one of the big Mirabilias, but these are the smaller ones that are only about, well, you know, you say small, but this one's 130 by 170, so it's not tiny. But I just, you know, I really liked those three, so I thought I'll grab that. So I've got the three, so I can work on them as I want. And then just because, yeah, charts can't travel alone, I decided that I would get, which I've already talked about in one of my pattern crush things, Our Small Cottage by Rosewood Manor, just because it's super pretty and I definitely want to stitch this sometime soon. That one. And then the last one that I got was, so in, I can't remember if it was late December or early January, Lindy Stitches this year is doing her Bird Crush Club, where she's doing like a bird related pattern each month. And she has teamed up with a photographer, a bird photographer she knows, so she's basing her patterns off pictures that he's done, but you get one a month, and if you're international, she's shipping like 3 every 3 months to save on postage, because postage is ridiculous. And you know, mail from Australia, well, from the US to Australia has been closed for quite some time now, and it was funny because I actually got an email from her saying, oh, do you still want to do this? Are you happy to hang on? Which was very nice of her. I'm happy to give you a refund. I said, no, that's fine. And then the mail opened up practically 2 days later or something. So I've got my first shipment now. I'm not going to show you the third one because I don't think she has revealed that yet. But January's was Stella's J. So there's the photo. So you get the pattern, and you get like a postcard with information about the bird and some stickers, and you get the fancy floss, so Threadworks fancy floss that she has used in the pattern, and the rest is just DMC, which is really nice, and she gives the DMC equivalent for the fancy floss too if you don't want to use the fancy floss for that. So this is from Thread, so they're all, I think, going to be from Threadworks. So that's the green, the Stella's J, and then February's made me laugh because it's these whistling ducks with the funny pink legs, kind of hilarious. So that's the pattern. So I know she's got a couple of, like, she's got the blue-footed booby pattern, and maybe another booby, a red-footed one as well. So she's like me and she finds birds with cool coloured feet hilarious, and then that's the Threadworks that goes with that one. So that's cool. So I'll have to start working those into rotation too. So that, I think, is all my haul, other than I got another shipment of got my first, you know, monthly shipment from my Hexi Club for my Hexi quilt that I am doing. So I have been diligently making my Hexies. So I must have, I think I've got about 60, maybe 70 now, I can't remember. I think I got 48 and then 25, so yeah, just under 70. Lots of cool Liberty fabrics. So I'll probably start making a couple of, so you make them into flowers, which are, this is a flower shape, but clearly these are bigger. I want to keep making some more, so you've got lots of color choices, but I have picked out like a couple of sets of 7 to make my first couple, just to see how I go with that and make those. So that is the Hexi Club going along. The next, I'll get another shipment later this month, so that will be fun. And I'm quite enjoying this. You only get like a limited number at a time, so it's not overwhelming thinking, oh, I have to make 400 Hexies to make this quilt, because you're just getting them in nice little chunks. So that works quite well, those cutting quilters and their block of the month clubs. So yeah, so I think that's all my haul. And then plan. So Whip Go this month, I'm doing Whip Go, which is by Jessie Marie Does Stuff here on Instagram. So it's basically like a bingo board where you pick 25, well, I guess originally it was whips, but projects that you want to work on throughout the year. And Jessie Marie does like she calls 2 numbers each month that you and then you work on whatever you set for your goals. So whether you set a page finish or a start and finish, or like a certain number of hours or a certain number of stitches, or some people do it so that their square is like work on a blackbird, or work on a Rosewood Manor design, or work on a Lindy Stitches design, and then they pick what they feel like working on from that designer, or they might say work on a Christmas ornament. So you can do it however you want. Jessie Marie always says your board, your rules, which is great. So it's just a fun way of like switching it up a little bit. So yeah, so last month my two were the Flamingos and Atlantis. This month, I think the numbers were 17 and 21. And I think 17 for me was actually when I did the board, I had page 3 and page 4 of Take Wing by Modern Stitches as two of my projects, but then I got a Wild Hair in January and finished that. And I wasn't sure whether I was going to swap those out for something else, but this month is going to be quite a busy month for me. And so 17, I got, you know, do a page of Take Wing. So I'm just going to leave that and say, yep, I've ticked that one off. And then the other one was like a free choice small. So I'm doing Smash the Patriarchy for that one. And then I'll see what else I feel like stitching. So I do have like a book deadline coming up. So I'm frantically trying to write a lot this month because I'm a little bit behind, but that's okay. So it won't be a lot of stitching. So Smash the Patriarchy. I'll keep doing my bookshelf. Do a little bit on Ruskin's Penguins. Do a little bit on Dilemma, which is my other whip, which I haven't done anything since I last showed it to you, so I'm not going to show it to you again. Do some more hexies and sew some flowers, and then the other thing I might do is start my crochet blanket for the year. So the last few years, every year I've done a Attic 24, who is a crochet designer on... Oh, she has a blog, and each year she releases like a free blanket pattern, and she does these really nice color palettes, and they're usually the stripes or like granny square based, so they're quite, you know, any level of crochet friendly. And so the last few years I've done some of those. So now that the weather is maybe starting to cool down a bit, it's not cool today, it's really muggy and humid and disgusting, but it's meant to start getting cooler because technically we're in autumn now, but tell that to climate change. I will probably start that at some stage this month because they usually take me about 3 months to make one of them, because I tend to just do like a stripe, which is 2 rows a day or so. And if I want to fit in stitching time as well, then yeah, we just have to balance the two. I made my mum one last year, and that took me a little bit longer because I think I had some time off in the middle because I'd hurt my wrist and I had a book as well. So that is me, and this feels like this has gone extra quick this time, but maybe that whole no-buy thing and having less haul to talk about really does speed up the process of a floss tube. Oh, I know what I haven't done. I haven't done my pattern crush thing. Okay, let's do that then. So if you are part of Flosstube and on, you know, cross stitch Instagram, you're well aware that it's Nashville NeedleWork market this weekend. So that's the big wholesale market for cross-stitch designers. I thought, well, you know, if we're going to play the pattern crush game, let's just talk about a few of my favourite Nashville releases. So firstly, this is Moggy Manor by Janine McGowan, who is the Blue Flower. I think she is Blue Flower Stitching on Instagram, but she has a YouTube here. So, you know, I'm a cat lady, and this just made me laugh with the moggies watching the fish and wandering around and the birds and things. So that is another sampler definitely on the radar. This gorgeous thing. So this is by Ingleside Imaginarium. I think it's called Water Dragon. Look at that, a black and teal dragon. That'd go well with all those black and teal witches that I intend to stitch one day, wouldn't it? And the Raven Queen, who's also black and teal. You can have a black and teal fantasy wall, which is fitting for someone who writes fantasy books. This one just because it made me laugh, and raccoons are funny. Feed me and tell me I'm pretty. That sounds like me. I like food. I like being told I'm pretty too. So yeah, I think that's from Dirty Annie's. I will correct myself if I am incorrect about that. Another one, just because it made me laugh, is Resting Stitch Face by Hands On Design. Hands On Design. So this is by Ingleside Imaginarium. I think it's called Water Dragon. So this is Ingleside Imaginarium. I think it's called Water Dragon. So this is Ingleside Imaginarium by Ingleside Imaginarium. I think that's from Dirty Annie's. Another one, just because it made me laugh, is Resting Stitch Face by Hands On Design. So that is cute. And then the last one, this one is from Michelle Bendy from Bendy Stitchy Designs. So this is a reproduction, a sampler, and as she says, she doesn't know if it was someone's little sister making fun of their big brother who thought he was a little bit of a ladies' man, but it does say quite the lady man, so who knows, maybe it was a trans or queer stitcher who stitched this too. So, but I like that, and I think it's cute, and as someone who writes historical books and likes reading about you know, historical romances and historical fantasies, I think that's quite fitting, and that one will probably be on my list as well. And that, actually, now I'm remembering the other thing that I was going to talk about. So on Instagram in March, there is a thing called Common Threaded Stitcher, started by Kea Bee of Kea Bee Quilts, and a group of other people, and it's just one of those monthly a prompt a day type things, where it's just encouraging stitchers to get to know each other online and talk about various aspects of their stitching and their lives. So I am doing that this month. I think today was day 4 because it's the 4th of March here in Australia. I don't know if I said that already, but it is the 4th of March. This will probably go up tomorrow, Saturday, the 5th of March. And I think the prompt for the 5th of March is either your favourite Nashville release or your favourite set of Nashville releases, or maybe that's the 5th and the 6th. So there you go. You've got a little bit of a sneak peek of some of my favourites from Nashville. So many gorgeous things though. I mean, you could spend a fortune, but I'm kind of extending my no-buy for a little bit longer. I think I've bought a couple of essential things, but in terms of crafty stuff, I think I'll keep going because I have plenty to be getting on with all my projects and a book to finish writing. I've got Pixies. I've already got the yarn for the blanket that I want to make. So really, I've got quilting fabric that I bought in January and February that I have not yet stitched anything with. So yes, I have enough craft supplies. So I'm going to try and continue my no-buy, other than probably the odd online Etsy purchase, to support some more Ukrainian designers and other designers who need some support at the moment. But I hope you are safe. I hope you are well. And I'm going to draw this to close, and I will see you either at the end of the month or in another 2 or 3 weeks. We'll just see how the book is going and what my schedule is like. All right, bye.